Hey, what's up, y'all? And of course, welcome, and of course, welcome to another alternative factuals video. Now, forgive me, I know usually on Mondays we would have videos, and not necessarily Mondays, but yeah, Mondays, Sundays, and Mondays I usually put out a video, but things happen, gotta take care of things in the personal life, but I will make sure to get you at least 2 videos this week. So, there is a new TV show, not necessarily on cable network per se, but it is on Amazon. If you have the Amazon, Prime Video app, like myself, you do know that there's a TV show called The Boys out, and it's actually a very interesting show. It's very good, actually. It's 8 episodes, if I recall correctly, and a lot of people seem to be very much into it. But before I dive into any of that hot, juicy, delicious stuff, please be sure to like, share, and of course subscribe. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think about the show. Let me know what you think about anything related to The Boys, and especially their comics. I didn't even know they had a comic book run called The Boys, and it's actually about 23 or 24 issues, give or take. So that's something you definitely would want to check out. But before I dive into any details about that, I just want to let you guys know I am working on some side projects that I do, what I hope that you would check out in the near future. And I haven't put anything out officially yet, but just look out for that. And without further ado, let's kind of jump into it. So The Boys, it's supposed to be like this American superhero dark kind of comedy web television series. It's, like I said, it's based on the comic book version that I'm pretty sure you can find online somewhere, The Boys comic book. It's relatively new. It just came out, and the series was developed by, I believe, Eric Kripke, I believe correctly, and it was premiered July 26th, so it's still very much new. I think it's only been like a couple days. So the premise of the whole entire thing is that in a world of superpowers, heroes have become commonplace. They're syndicated, they're monetized, and they're marketed by a company called Vault International. Basically, superheroes have become completely privatized, similar to the Justice League and how Batman kind of bankrolls a lot of their choices and financial stuff, but similar to that, but not necessarily a superhero directly monetizing them. Basically, this is just something where in a country of capitalism, people have taken advantage of the fact that superheroes exist and sought to make money off of them. But unfortunately, we already know with money and privilege, it does corrupt. And you know what they say, money not only corrupts, but it corrupts absolutely. So many of the superheroes give into their darker impulses on the side, where in public, they give off the appearance like, yes, I am a superhero, I am such and such, and I am definitely going to do this, save people. But also behind the scenes, they do a lot of nasty, terrible things, and I mean just pretty much all of them. And basically, this is a series surrounding a clandestine group of basically normal human vigilantes that arise to kind of counter these corrupt superheroes. Basically, it's a version where it's a group of people who are very similar to Batman, and who they're going against what's going on, and in terms of the whole superhero community. Now in the TV show, it's kind of following the main character, and basically he experiences a loss. His girlfriend after work, and then a speedster actually comes and kills him. So that was a very, very, very interesting choice. But Huey Campbell is the name of the primary character, and like I said, his girlfriend Robin was killed from a high velocity impact by the celebrity superhero A-Train. So this kind of what launches everything forward, because at the end of the day, he loved that girl. He's about to move in with her, and they kind of took that opportunity away from him. And instead of even just apologizing or giving a valid reason on why he was even running that fast, or why he was running so close to the sidewalk, he actually didn't even really apologize, at least not genuinely, and they actually tried to cover it up, and that's what kind of launched this whole series moving forward. Now, for the most part, I actually am pretty much enjoying this I won't say episode, but season, and I'm enjoying the concept of the show as well as the comics as well. The reason why I'm enjoying this so much is because, for the most part, when it comes to superheroes, we don't really see the darker aspects of what they could be if they did exist in the real life. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy the Avengers, I enjoy the Justice League in terms of their comics and the animated series. All that stuff I do enjoy. That's very interesting, and they're very fun to watch, and then kind of imagine what the world would be like if there were superheroes and people who had supernatural abilities and all that good stuff. But the reason why this show is kind of grabbing my attention, and I think the reason why a lot of people are starting to enjoy this show, is it takes a perspective on superheroes that we've never really seen too often. And we've seen this in a couple comics. We've seen this in the Injustice universe. We've seen this in alternate realities when it comes to Marvel Comics. We've seen this in a couple instances, but they're never really mainstream. But in this show, it is a very mainstream concept. If you bring these superheroes into real life and you give them basically these abilities, and at the same time they're still relatively human for the most part. So they have all these human tendencies, they still lie, cheat, steal, all that stuff. They have these abilities. And what would happen if you bring them into the real world and they have all these vices, all these destructive tendencies as a human being, as a person who have toxic traits, and then you kind of use that and monetize them as a way to kind of privatize, saving cities and, putting superheroes on salaries and all that stuff. It's very interesting. Now, I say this because, for example, the superheroes as a whole has always been depicted as, a group of people, or people who are very, for the most part, they always seem to be good. There's always, just people who are absolutely good and there's people who are absolutely bad. But this shows that there's also, there's black and white, but there's also shades of gray in between. Just off of the first episode alone, you already know, like the superhero A-Train, for example, when he's delivering a package, he doesn't feel guilty for killing someone. And even later on, I believe it was episode 2, it might have been episode 1, he's still kind of, A-Train, by the way, I'm talking about the superhero, he still kind of has this kind of vibe or feeling, or even just the overall nonchalant kind of, aspect of him that he just doesn't really care. A lot of these superheroes in this show don't really care about collateral damage. They just care about the fact that they can monetize their abilities. And this is what makes it so interesting. Now imagine a world where, yes, superheroes, they save people. Yes, they, for the most part, on paper, they save people. But there's tons of collateral damage. There's still a whole bunch of stuff that you don't really know about them behind the scenes, where a lot of them do drugs. A lot of them are being funded and sponsored by, Christian groups all over the world. And then behind the scenes, they might be gay, or they might be, trans, or whatever the case may be. And this show literally takes that concept and flips it on its head, basically saying that, yes, even though they have powers, even though they have abilities, they are still very much human in terms of the way that they act. And let's be honest, a lot of people, even myself included, I'm like, hey, it would be super dope if we had abilities in real life. We'd be able to do, weird stuff, turn invisible, fly, have super strength, all that stuff. But in reality, this world would be very much like that world, where people will see that as an opportunity to monetize people with abilities and monetize what they can do. And even the police wouldn't be able to do anything because you do have superhuman villains and stuff like that. So basically the police would be inept to even deal with these people. Then you have to privatize superheroes, basically give them a salary so they can save people and then still support themselves. And then on top of that, you have them saving people, you have them saving, cities and all that stuff. But then after a while, it's human nature. It's going to start to go to your head in one way or another. And you also have the government, where they'll see this as like, okay, yes, we have superpowered beings and this is what we can do. Yes, we have them saving cities, we have them saving local areas, but also they're going to be using them to, conduct black ops missions, where you have some people who can turn invisible. You have some people who can fly, who can have super strength, who basically are Superman for the most part. And then that's what makes it interesting, because I believe it was episode 2, might have been episode 3, but I forget the name of the superhero specifically. He's very much based off of Superman for the most part. He has a heat vision, he has the whole cape and everything. He has a persona and he has the invulnerability. He has pretty much almost all of his abilities for the most part. The hero that I'm referring to, by the way, is called Homelander, and even the name itself makes references to the fact that, yes, Homeland is, a TV show, but a reference to, yes, he's all about the American dream, so to speak. And if you've seen the episodes, or if you've seen the season, you do know that he actually does destroy a plane about some, it was in regards to a gentleman who actually required, or basically made a deal to acquire Nubian Prince, who was another superhero who he had hired to help, fund the city, protect the city with funding from the city. So basically he was trying to blackmail the vault industry, which is basically privatized, in order for them to get a better deal for the superhero. He ended up revealing that he knew certain information about something and got himself killed. Point of the story is, overall, it's a very interesting show. I think you should definitely watch it. In terms of my rating out of 10, I would give it like an 8.6 out of 10. Not so much of the superhero abilities and not so much of the superhero visuals, but it's more or less just the concept behind these people and what these superheroes represent if they were to exist in the real world. But let me know what you think about the series. Let me know what you think about the concept of, the whole Vought and the Boys series and comics and all that stuff. And if you're new to the channel, please be sure to like, share, and of course subscribe. Leave your comments down below, and I hope to see you later on. Peace out.